Big performance overseas in Olympic tune-ups. It may be time for the Chicago Bulls fans to realize that Josh Giddey may just prove the doubters wrong. We'll talk about why, all and more, right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
I see red, I see red, I see red, I see red, yeah, I see red, I see red, I see red, I see red.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. My name is Haize. Most importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about it. So when the Bulls traded Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey, it understandably so got met with a lot of questions on what the Bulls were focused on, considering they got no draft picks back from one of the teams that have the most draft picks in the NBA. And giving up Alex Caruso was a team favorite player, a defensive player, a two-way player, one of the players that did up his three-point shooting percentage and did exactly what he said he wanted to do coming into the season, having his offense start to match his defense. And Josh Giddey, a player whose season ended, albeit disappointingly, in that playoff run with the OKC Thunder, where down the stretch of that playoff series, the OKC Thunder just weren't playing him. And so when you pair that already with the step back that Josh Giddey took statistically last season for the OKC Thunder, it all put a situation where Bulls fans looked at this Josh Giddey deal and asked and wondered, what the hell were the Bulls doing? And to that credit, even in that time, like Josh Giddey, one of the better playmakers in the NBA, things like that, a guy who could almost damn near average a triple-double, Bulls fans still looked at this acquisition, and because of the lack of three-point shooting, the fact that you gave up somebody that Bulls fans almost universally loved, and you didn't get any draft capital back while your team is rebuilding and going younger, it just all kind of the narrative fit the situation. But I think if anybody is objectively looking at how Josh Giddey continues to play overseas, especially in that performance against Team USA, following that up with a great performance against Puerto Rico, and then now against France with former number one pick Wemby on that team as well, Josh Giddey just continues to show and prove that he has a level of poise and playmaking, and he's not done yet uncovering that offensive bag for himself, and that's the part that makes it special. In I guess it's still today's game. It was last night's game, depending on the time zone you're in. But 20 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds in the game did Josh Giddey have. And Giddey, when you watch these games, watch the highlights, whatever you can do, the one thing that you will understand about the thing that makes Josh Giddey special, and the thing that I can't wait to see him bring to the Chicago Bulls, is that playmaking. Notice, I'm talking playmaking, not just getting the assists. Yes, he had 8 assists in this game. That's great to see, but it's the playmaking. How he understands and intentionally moves around the court as that point guard to create seams and open lanes for his players. The fact of the matter is that Josh Giddey, as a point guard, yes, in a league where we value three-point shooting most, Josh Giddey isn't a great three-point shooter at all. Now, he has gotten better, and shout out to the user that actually pointed this out to me, because I didn't really think about this up until then. Josh Giddey has gotten better every year three-point shooting-wise, starting off at 26%, then 32%. Then 33.7%. Now, the volume has gone down each one of those years as well. Got to be objective in that. He started off his career taking almost 4 3-pointers per game, then 3.1, and then 3 last season. But the fact is that Josh Giddey is not done uncovering his game yet. And there's rightfully so a reason to ask some questions on, is the Bulls the place to do it, when we already have our questions about how the Bulls develop their own players. But in Josh Giddey, the Bulls get somebody who, as a point guard, and the point guardsmanship and the ability to create open looks and get to the teeth of the defense. If this Bulls team does truly adapt a new style where players are actually finally moving off the ball and without the ball in their hands, Josh Giddey is going to be able to get them the ball. And that's the part that the Bulls are hoping is going to be the greater part of the sum than the individual parts themselves, with Josh Giddey coming to the Chicago Bulls team. Big picture. Simba said it. Big picture. Yes. Big picture. And that is something that I get it. Where we've been as Bulls fans and where this franchise has been for the longest, it's tough to step back and look at big picture sometimes. But Josh Giddey is part of a big picture. And if he truly does bring what his skill set says that he can bring, man, I'm telling you right now, you look out. If this Bulls team is getting out in the run, and you talk about having Modest Bucilis, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, any combination of those players, Jalen Smith, getting out in transition, and Josh Giddey is leading you as the point guard. And don't overlook the fact that Josh Giddey can also start the fast break for you because he's one of the better rebounding guards in the NBA. I get it. There's huge reasons for doubt, and in no way would I ever say that everybody should just universally look at this Josh Giddey trade as one that's just automatically going to work for the Bulls. But what I'm saying is there's definitely enough reason to think that Josh Giddey's bringing something to this team that is that the Bulls are need, and the Bulls haven't really had the playmaker, the type of Josh Giddey, in quite a while, and so we'll see how that's going to bring. We'll see how that's going to continue to develop for this team, man. Great to see this team continue to just or Josh Giddey continue to shine overseas. Now we just got to see if he's going to bring it to the NBA. That's the biggest question here: is how much of this is going to translate for him, and I think a lot is. Mott says Giddey, White, Buzelis, P. Will, Vooch. Zach LaVine is going to start if Zach's here. That's just period. He's going to start if he's here. And I'll tell you what, Josh Giddey getting out in transition with a Zach LaVine, that could be a solid matchup to look at for sure. We don't have an open roster spot to sign Javonte, my brother. So no, our roster is full. Like our roster is completely full at this point. So the chances of us bringing back Javonte Green right now are slim, unless the Bulls can find ability to dump a contract somewhere. It's unfortunate, but it doesn't seem like it. I watched the game and Josh Giddey is good. Facts. That's definitely good. I love me some Mitty. Hey, you so silly, bro. You so funny. If they sign Javonte Green, they will win 10 plus games, no cap. You can't say that for sure. Javonte Green is a role player, and that's fine. He's a role player, and he's an energy guy, and he's got the type of player that we love here in Chicago, but he's not really it doesn't add 10 games to you, bro. A player adding 10 games is damn near superstar status, bro. The thing about is Giddey isn't even about him. That's facts. That's facts. That's 100% true. It's about how much better he will make Kobe and Buzelis and Patrick Williams. Because one thing about it is if Patrick Williams cuts to the basket, Giddey's going to get him the ball. It's not even going to be Patrick Williams has the time to decide if he's going to shoot or not. Giddey's going to get him the ball. That type of thing is infectious. Feeling giddy about the Bulls' future, but trying not to get overzealous. That's great wordplay there, Kyle. Great wordplay. I think it's a mistake not to start Buzelis at some point this year. He will be rookie of the year if we play him. Well, again, you could say that, and I understand where you're coming from in that, but if Zach LaVine's healthy, he's going to start. Kobe's going to start. So that's just it. Giddey, Buzelis isn't ready to start at the power forward. Patrick Williams is going to start. It just is what it is. It's not about if you start or not. It's about how many minutes you give him. That's the thing that I look at. It's about how many minutes do they give Buzelis. That's the thing I'm more so looking at than if he starts or not. Starting is if you're getting 25, 28 minutes, it doesn't matter if you're starting or not. Kobe, Josh, Zach, Modest, Vooch, you think no. Patrick Williams is going to be the starting four. Buzelis is not going to start over Patrick Williams. The passes Giddey made today, some of those players did not even see. And that's the thing. If you look at specifically, I think the Team USA game, Australia played overall well in that one. But if you look in the Puerto Rico game and this game against France, there was easily 2 or 3 assists left on the table by his teammates just not hitting the shots. That's why I always like to use that open shots created stat. That's such a good stat. It's not available for Olympic basketball. They don't track that, but it's such a good statistic and an analytic to use because it's the open shots that you generate for your teammates. And Josh Giddey is in the 91st percentile of that in the NBA. That's great. Unless they make a move, I don't see Javonte Green back with the Bulls. As much as I like Javonte, we have a completely full roster. Yeah, and now that we've signed Jesus Christ, DJ, what's Stewart? Our two-way contracts are all taken up at this point. Now, two-way contracts aren't guaranteed, so you can waive or sign a player to two-way at any point in time. But Bulls roster shakeup might not be over though. Roster is full. Yeah, it may not be, but it seems like the Bulls if the Bulls had their way, I have no doubt that Zach LaVine would be moved by now. But they're not getting the deals that they would like. So I think that I think it seems like too by the last time AK talked about it that the Bulls have come to the realization and starting to get to the place of they just realize that they're probably not going to be able to make a move. Zach LaVine's going to be on the opening night roster. In order for the Bulls to get that top 10 protected pick for our young guys to prosper, Zach LaVine has to go. Then Vooch, Fairfax. I wouldn't say that for sure. Like this Bulls team won 39 games last year. They were 3 losses away from being in the top 10. So I'm not going to guarantee that. Keep in mind, look, we only won 39 games and we were in what 40 something clutch, like over just like 43 clutch games. And we're probably going to win less than that and probably not even being in many of those clutch games because we don't have DeMar DeRozan. He was such an important part to that clutch play. So I won't say that you have to guarantee. Now it does strengthen your chance for sure, but I won't say that you have to guarantee. We'll see though. I forgot about Pat. A lot of people have forgotten about Pat. That's for sure. Jalen Smith is not a better player than Nikola Vucevic at all. He's just not. I'm sorry. The whole time my wife pregnant last year, I watch you every day now. My daughter's familiar with your voice. I call you her TV uncle. Hey Thule, shout out to the Nisi Poo, man. Hey, listen, that's amazing, bro. That's crazy. Shout out to her. That's funny. Imagine the Giddey Basilis lobs going to be nasty. I completely agree with that. Completely agree with that. I love Sonogo, Phillips, and Stu. Still great prospects. Yeah, still definitely good prospects that we have there as well. Giddey with the elite street ball YMCA passes, sneaky. That's not a bad way to describe it. I'm ready to see young guys grow together and build a winning culture, especially now that Kobe, Io, and P. will have more opportunities to step up individually. No notes there. I completely agree with you, brother. If we truly let Giddey run the point fully, I think he can help Zach LaVine's trade value. Could be. It's going to be such a fun break. And I've been saying that for a while, Mott's. I think that I don't know how many games to win, but I do think we're going to be playing a lot more fun brand of basketball. That's for sure. Moving LaVine open the door for Io minutes or modest minutes. I think both. I think a combination of both. I would assume was going to play some wing as well. But I do think that if the Bulls, let's say the Bulls find a trade for Zach LaVine before the season starts, they could go Giddey, Kobe, Io. I think that they will want Io, and now that Io is one of the veterans on this team, to probably come off the bench. So you probably are looking at Modest to start at that point in time, in my opinion. But don't want to get too ahead. We'll see what comes of that. Do we still have Green? No, he is, as of right now. No, we don't have Javonte Green. Josh Giddey creates so many open looks by attacking the paint. Vucevic is a player fans don't really like, but he will benefit a lot from the open looks at the rim with Giddey. Hey, and that's something to overlook. I know somebody just said that, but Giddey, if he comes in and be's the point that it seems like he can be, he may up the trade value of both Nikola Vucevic and Zach LaVine. So we'll see. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but this pseudo rebuild seems pretty solid so far. Actually, step ahead of a rebuild, in my opinion. It seems that way, right? Like you said, we can't say for sure yet, but it does seem like it may be going in that direction. If there's any player on the team willing to slap Javon every time he tells coach to put him, that's hilarious. What is up, brother? Been busy, but still watching. Giddey's going to help people believe they will be rewarded for moving off ball. That's a fact. Completely agree with you on that one. Let's talk about the second 5 lineup after the start. Well, you don't go 10 deep. So it's not hockey, right? You're not going to do hockey lineups where you're changing 5 on 5. So really, typically Billy Donovan goes 8 to 9 deep. So you're not going to see a full 10-man. And even that 9th guy usually doesn't play a whole lot of minutes. But we'll see. What happens if we win more than 60 games? Not saying it will happen, but what if? I mean, then we gonna party, rock out with our cocks out. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe not to say that in the Josh Giddey video, but hey, Haize, what do you think about my bench prediction with Io, Dalen, Montez Torrey, and Jalen coming off the bench? Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty safe. I'd probably put Phillips before Dalen Terry, in my opinion. I think Phillips is more versatile, both defensively and offensively. And I think you trust his shot a little bit more. But if I had to go off what you said, I'm probably putting Phillips over Dalen Terry in a case like that. I think the odds are high. Modest, Phillips, Sonogo, and Batum would start the year in the G League. I won't say that. The reason why I won't say that is that the last time the Bulls drafted that high, they didn't. It's not like the former. A lot of times when you saw Dalen, when you saw Julian playing the G League, it's because we had a veteran team. We've gone considerably younger. So I do think that Modest is going to be on the actual Bulls roster getting minutes next year. Same thing with Julian Phillips. Sanogo's a two-way player, so yeah. But Tim, I don't know. We need shooting. And I don't know if you guys saw it. I posted it to the Shorts channel. Ornelop just released a hype video with commentary from Stacey King and Adam Amin. I think he feels pretty confident he's going to be playing for the Bulls next season. So you release something like that, to me, that means somebody told you something, in my opinion. So much change on our team and structure, we will struggle. I agree. I definitely agree with that. To be honest, I'd rather see them fire Billy than trade Zach. Billy is why Zach wants to leave. We won't get fair trade value for Zach or win the championship with Billy as a coach, so keep the talent. Well, unfortunately, I not to say that I don't understand where you're coming from, but I think that this front office has shown their hands. They're definitely going to keep Billy Donovan. So 60 game LOL losses may be close. That's hilarious. That's funny. Javonte Green over Torrey Craig. Well, that's where guaranteed contracts play a part at. Fortunately, Torrey Craig has a guaranteed contract, so it's not that simple. But I understand where you're coming from with saying Javonte over Torrey Craig. Like, I understand where you're coming from. It's not that I don't understand that. I'm just saying. Rock out with the cocks out is wild under Josh Giddey live. Yeah, that's why after I said that, I was like, that's a wild statement to make on a Josh Giddey live stream. That's wild. That's yeah. I may tripped a little bit on that one. Yeah. Oh well, we're gonna roll with it. It is what it is. Giddy, also one of the best rebounding guards in the league. That's a big deal. We mid rebound. Hey, I talked about that on today's daily episode. Like, we got some really good rebounding guards. Io's a solid rebounding guard. Kobe's a solid rebounding guard. Josh Giddey's a solid rebounding guard. Hell, even really Zach LaVine can be a solid rebounding, more so offensive rebounds and defenses, but he can be a solid rebounding guard as well. At times, if you look at his career for the rebounding rate, not necessarily the number, we'll see. We'll see. All Giddy need was a new scenery. He should be back to himself, Haize, this season. Let's hope so, RC. Let's hope so. I'm not convinced this is a bad defensive team without LaVine. I am, but hey, I hope that you're from your mouth to God's ears, brother. Not only did the front office choose Billy over Zach, they doubled down and hired his son as the G League head coach. AK's idiot brain been fucked by Stu. That's crazy. It's exciting to be looking forward to seeing faster paced basketball that's not based on the 90s. Completely agree with you there. Completely agree with you there. I agree with some of what you're saying here. Giddy, yes, tall and wide, but he's a terrible defender. Io and P. Will are solid defenders. Modest Bucilis is not going to be a good on-ball defender his rookie year. He's solid off-ball. He gets steals. He gets blocks. Jalen Smith is also a bad on-ball defender. He does some similar things to Modest where it's kind of the weak side defense, the help defense he's solid at. But on-ball, he's terrible. Go and look at it. Jalen Smith's on-ball is terrible. Terrible. And if we ever see him again, Lonzo Ball is a good rebounder. That's a fact as well. Definitely fact as well. But all right, I just wanted to bring that to you guys. I was literally sitting here thinking, and I'm just like, I had to catch up on watching Australia's game because I didn't get to watch it live. And so I'm watching this game, and I'm just like, I think Josh Giddey is going to prove a lot of people wrong. I really think Josh Giddey is going to prove a lot of the doubters wrong. And I think that by the end of the season, don't be surprised if Bulls fans, because they've already started coming around seeing the highlights, but I think that's gonna Josh Giddey's gonna turn a lot of Bulls fans. Is that a pause? That's crazy. He's gonna turn the perception on him around that a lot of Bulls fans have. I really think so. So we'll see what happens with that, man. But thank you guys so much, man. Tamika Brown, Marcellus, I love your show. I think we're going to get a lot of points, fast break, but bad on defense. That's where the losses come down. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, brother. But all right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. BullCentralPod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, as you can see with this live stream. And like I like to end everything on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all.